This is why I train in martial arts.
What's dangerous is when the universe pick you and you put on the magic glasses. There's rules that go with them. You can never take them off. You never see things as they're supposed to be. You see things as they are. And you can never force nobody else to wear them. So,
Passing of Dick Gregory, because he was a very influential historical figure in the United States, and particularly someone out of my ethnic group that I grew up my whole life hearing about. And on another note, there's no way you could be an overweight black person in the 1970s and 80s, and probably before that, and you never heard about Dick Gregory, or no one ever tried to sell you his diet or his fasting products, at least up until the 80s. Maybe it stopped in the 90s. And, I guess he knew a lot about fasting and whatnot because it didn't appear to me like he had a weight problem. So I just want to say too, some of y'all, y'all went a little overboard trying to push the whole Dick Gregory fasting thing. I didn't have to really deal with it that much because I was a kid, so I guess I was deemed too young to try something like that. But I definitely saw a lot of older people getting mad because you got a weight problem. Everybody knows you have a weight problem, and then someone comes up and tries to sell you the Dick Gregory diet. It's a little off-putting, and it's a little insulting. But hey, Dick Gregory knew a lot. It's not until I got older and recently, like trying to look things up on YouTube, that I was able to actually get a hold of a lot of his wisdom. So R.I.P. to him. Now, there's one thing that it touches on martial arts because fasting is part of health, and health should be a part of martial arts. Is fasting and energy. I'm going to play a little bit of a clip I got from Real Black TV, where Dick Gregory gives examples of how fasting helped him tap into universal energy. I guess you could say tap into chi. And then I'll share an experience I had where fasting didn't help me tap into chi per se, but I felt like it helped me to get a huge word from God. So I'm going to play what Dick Gregory was talking about, and then I'm going to share my own experience.
you don't fast to make bad people good people. You fast to create a positive energy force where other forces can gather. The word fast means to abstain from. So if you drinking water, you're on a water diet. That's not a fast. You drinking fruit juice, you're on a fruit juice diet. When you take nothing, when you talk about the story of Jesus and them, that's 40 days on just breathing. I never understood why Gandhi got so much play as long as he fasted for 13 days. I didn't realize that 13 days was nothing. Just breathing. And then everything in the body changes. The universe takes over. And the people who know more than anybody else is the Church of God in Christ. See, I always thought you had to go X amount of days taking juice to get ready for a fast. And they go from eating dinner to a fast. And when they break their fast, they go right back to the pork chops and nothing happens to them. But also it heals, it cleanses. See, once you go on a fast, the body starts consuming itself. So if you took a comb and combed your hair, what are the hairs going to come out of the comb? The weak ones or the strong ones?
The weak ones.
Okay, so if you have cancer, when you go on a fast, it start eating up all. That's how you heal. The day you was here, if you just assume when the universe invented this planet, it hadn't been back. So if it wasn't here then it's supposed to be here now. If it's here now, it wasn't made by the universe. No. Just had a hell of a story the other day. The third cause of death in America. One is heart condition, cancer, and doctors making a mistake. Is that kind of incredible, man? Mm-hmm. Is that part?
It's deep.
Yeah, and so that's what fasting.
What got you into fasting?
Oh,
What's up?
I do something fast. As long as I've gone on water, it's 180 days. The long on fruit juice is 2.5 years. The longest I've gone on nothing is like 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you start seeing things happen, you know.
Like what?
If I'm in this building here, and there's a circuit that's bad, it might not set the building on fire for 30 years, but to protect me, it blows it out immediately. Okay, just, everything go. That's fast. That's the universe.
Because you're in sync with a different level of energy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, I did not set out to do this fast. It was literally something that happened on a spur of the moment because I was busy at work and I couldn't go get anything to eat. And so it wasn't even really a full day, I don't think. I think I just didn't eat. I brought my breakfast with me to work. This was like years ago. Like I'm talking at least 15, 20 years ago. I didn't set out to fast. I just didn't eat. And I just didn't have a chance to eat. And I didn't eat. I don't think I drank anything either that day. I was just super busy because as soon as I got to work, there was a lot of stuff there for me to do. And I was getting hungry, of course. I was like, no, I got to get this stuff done because it's piling up. And so I just decided I'll just tap into whatever energy I can get, inside of me, whatever. I'm thinking, hey, I've got fat cells, body will take them. So I was just drawing in energy and I did some breathing, just breathing, trying to relax. I had just started back into martial arts after about like a 10-year hiatus or something like that, or maybe 8-year hiatus. And I started doing a little bit of yoga then. So I started breathing. But it wasn't anything from the east per se that came to me. It was about 3:45 or close to 4 o'clock, something like that. It was a little bit before, it was right about the time I would normally get off that day. And I had a strong urge of feeling nudging at me in my spirit to leave. It's like, leave. You have got to leave now. You have got to leave right now. I was like, what? Then I just ignored it. It's like, I'm just tripping. Then it came again. No, you have got to leave now. You've got to leave right now. So I said, all right, I looked at the clock. It's like, it's time for me to go anyway. I just left. I just took off. It's like, hurry up, go. So I took off, go around the corner. Quickly hit around the corner. And, it's like, just go home, start going home. So I started going home. I started going along my regular route, regular walk from the office building down to the subway. It was I think it was like a 12-minute walk or something. So I got near to where that library was. I don't know if the library's still there now, but there was a library there right next to the library with a bunch of apartments and houses that college kids would rent. And then I heard stop. So I stopped and said, go stand on that that block. There was this little cement seat that people would stand. It was like a big block that you could sit on. So I went and I stood on the block and it said, turn around. It said, turn around. And it said, turn around. So I'm turning around. I'm like, I'm losing my mind. And it said, look over there. And then I looked at one of the houses and I swear to you, right when I looked at the house, there was a guy who was following behind a girl. She had headphones on. She didn't hear this guy. So now keep in mind, there's a whole sea of people around. I mean, it was as crowded. It was almost as crowded as a concert because around that time of day, usually just everybody's walking back and forth. Traffic slows down, everything back then. So, I mean, it was super, super busy outside. And the only way I really noticed is because, I could see the rhythm of the crowd. And then I saw these two bodies in sync going over to the left. So then I looked. And when I looked over there, I could tell he was matching her pace. It was like he was a cheetah going after a gazelle. He was matching her pace a little too much. And I looked at him. When I looked at him, he sensed me looking at him. He stopped, looked at me, panicked, and he ran off. And then the voice said, "You can go now, but you should talk to her." So I stood there another like 7 minutes because I was totally freaked out, man. It was I totally freaked out. And so I finally went, I knocked on the girl's door. Well, it may not have been 7 minutes, actually felt like forever. And she was like, "Yes, can I help you?" And I told her, and so you were walking around with your headphones on. I said, "There was a guy who was following behind you. And I swear, was you expecting a friend of yours to come?" I said, "No, nobody was supposed to be coming here. No, none of my friends ever come over here. I see everybody at school," something like that. And she said, "What do he look like?" And I couldn't really describe it because he just looked average. He looked very typical. He just looked, I'm not going to give away the race of the group because I don't want stereotype. Okay. And just if you think, oh, he's coming for his own race, he wasn't in my race. Even though my race is the human race, but he wasn't in what you call my race. He looked like a million people that's around there. He was average. He might have been a little small for a guy, maybe a little small, but it's a lot of guys that look like him that was around there. And I told her, just be careful. And I said, maybe take your headphones off because, you probably couldn't hear him coming up behind you. She said, "Oh my God, thanks." And some other woman who was kind of hanging around who saw what I did, she was like, "Oh my God, you saved that girl. How'd you know to do that?" I said, "I don't know how I knew to do it. I did it." The only thing I could think of is, and I told a couple of people about it too. I probably talked about it for days because it really just freaked me out. It was the weirdest thing. It really, now I'm only thinking, because my stomach was empty finally, one of the rare times that it was like God could actually talk to me and get me to do something. That's the only thing I could think of. It's not something I'd ever done before, and it's not something I've ever been able to duplicate since. And so don't ask me how to do it because I don't know. The only explanation I have is that it's similar to what Dick Gregory was saying, how fasting can put you in touch or help finally just make you stop for a second. So basically, so that God can talk to you. Because when you're digesting food, your body has to pay attention to that. And especially these days, we have all these distractions. You try to breathe and live and carry on all your body functions while you're trying to watch TV, get through traffic, do your job, talk to your friends, talk to your family. You're worried about your own health, or worried about what you're going to do tomorrow, when I'm going to cook for dinner. I got to get the kids here. So it was probably, I was so focused on the work task, and I was so focused and empty, just breathing, just being clear, that I was finally able to, for God to do something with me. So if it makes me sound nuts, fine. But all I know is that's one instance where fasting actually did put me in touch, I think, with something positive. Even more than martial arts could. But, it's like everything had to come together because I had to have the faith. I had to have the faith to believe and to trust. And I had to be fasting right at that time. And then I had to have the martial arts skills so that I would be confident and exude the confidence, so that when that guy saw me, he left. Because I don't think he just left because, oh, it's a big guy. Because, he left like he knew, oh, this guy's a handful, I better go. It wasn't, I know the reaction of, oh my goodness, he's just big, I'm scared. No, this was a really thing calculated. No, he's a handful. I'm not going to be bothered with that. I'm going to go. So. R.I.P. to Dick Gregory. He's got some really good wisdom out there now. Do I agree with everything that Dick Gregory says? No. Or said? No. Don't agree with everything Dick Gregory said. I don't agree with everything a lot of people say or said that I look at. But I do think Dick Gregory definitely has something of value that we can learn from, especially those of us who are in the martial arts, or just those of us who want to make the world a better place. So check out some of his interviews because he also talks about how he was friends with John Lennon. So check him out. R.I.P. Mr. Gregory, and my condolences to all of his family and close friends. Peace.